My perfect sister tried to sabotage my dream job, but her elaborate scheme blew up in her face. I, 32, female, have always lived in the shadow of my older sister, Amelia, 35, female. Growing up, she was the golden child, effortlessly beautiful, academically brilliant, and a natural at everything she tried. I, on the other hand, was the autistic one, which was code for the one who isn't going to be a doctor or lawyer. Our parents, while loving, definitely fueled this dynamic, constantly praising Amelia's achievements and subtly pushing me towards more stable career paths. Even though my passion was always in visual effects and animation, after high school, Amelia went to an Ivy League university, eventually becoming a highly successful corporate lawyer. I, against my parents' initial wishes, went to a specialized art school and worked my tail off to build a portfolio. It was a struggle, and there were many lean years where I questioned my choices, but I persevered. I started getting small freelance gigs, then a junior position at a local studio, and slowly, painstakingly, I began to carve out a niche for myself. My parents, to their credit, eventually came around, especially after I started working on projects that made it to the big screen. Even if my name was buried deep in the credits, Amelia, however, never quite understood or respected my career. She'd often make passive-aggressive comments like, "It's so nice you get to play with computers all day," or "When are you going to get a real job with benefits?" It stung, but I learned to brush it off. Her life seemed perfect on the surface. She married a wealthy man, David, 36, male, had 2 adorable children, and lived in a sprawling house in the suburbs. She always made sure everyone knew how blessed she was. The biggest break of my career came about 6 months ago. A major animation studio, one I had admired since childhood, announced they were looking for a lead visual effects artist for their next big feature film. This wasn't just any film, it was a passion project for the acclaimed director, known for pushing boundaries and creating visually stunning worlds. This was my dream job, the kind of opportunity that could define my career. I spent weeks poring over my application, refining my portfolio, and meticulously preparing for the interviews. The competition was fierce, with artists from all over the world vying for the same position. I went through 3 rounds of increasingly intense interviews, showcasing my skills, my vision, and my unwavering dedication. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I received the call. I got the job. I was ecstatic. I cried tears of joy, called my closest friends, and then, hesitantly, called my parents. They were thrilled, genuinely proud. Then I called Amelia. I expected some lukewarm congratulations, maybe another backhanded compliment. What I got instead was a surprisingly enthusiastic response. "That's wonderful, dear sister. I knew you had it in you," she gushed. It felt off, but I was too happy to dwell on it. The new job was everything I had hoped for and more. The team was incredible, the work was challenging and fulfilling, and I felt like I was finally where I was meant to be. I was learning so much, contributing to something truly special, and getting recognized for my talent. I was even given a significant bonus just a few months in for my exceptional contributions to a particularly difficult sequence. My confidence soared. About 4 months into my new role, a company-wide retreat was announced. It was a big deal, a chance for everyone to relax, bond, and discuss future projects. The studio was renting out an entire luxury resort for a weekend. I was really looking forward to it. A few days before the retreat, Amelia called me. "Hey, I know this is super last minute, but David and I were planning a small getaway this weekend, and our usual babysitter cancelled. Would you mind watching the kids? It's just for 2 nights. I know you're busy, but you're so good with them, and it would really help us out." I was immediately put in a difficult position. I loved my niece and nephew dearly, but this retreat was crucial for my career. I explained the situation to Amelia, emphasizing how important this event was. She sighed dramatically. "Oh, right, the work retreat. Look, I get it, but family comes first, doesn't it? It's just 2 days. Can't you just skip it? Or at least leave early?" Her tone was starting to get dismissive, a familiar pattern. I politely but firmly declined, reiterating that I couldn't miss it. She got cold and said, "Fine, whatever. I guess David and I will just have to cancel our plans then." She hung up before I could respond. I felt a pang of guilt, but I knew I had made the right choice. My career had to be a priority sometimes. The retreat was fantastic. I connected with colleagues on a deeper level, brainstormed exciting new ideas, and truly felt like an integral part of the team. On Sunday evening, as the retreat was winding down, I received a frantic call from my mother. "Honey, you need to call Amelia. She's hysterical. She just got a call from her boss saying she's being investigated for something serious at work." My heart sank. Amelia, being investigated? She was practically a saint in our parents' eyes. I called her immediately. Her voice was shaking, filled with a mix of anger and fear. "They're saying I embezzled money, sister. They found huge sums of money transferred from the company account to a personal account that's somehow linked to me. They're threatening to fire me, maybe even press charges." I was stunned. Amelia, a corporate lawyer, embezzling? It seemed completely out of character. But why would they think that? Do they have proof? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "They're saying there are emails and bank statements. It's all a setup, I tell you. Someone is trying to ruin me," she sobbed. "And guess what? My boss mentioned something about a tip-off from someone who knows me. Someone jealous, perhaps." Her tone implied she suspected me. "Amelia, why would I do something like that?" I asked, genuinely hurt. "I don't know. You're the only one who's always been jealous of my success. And now you have this big fancy job. Maybe you think you can take me down a peg." I was speechless. The accusation was so absurd, so baseless, that it took my breath away. "I have to go, Amelia. I can't even believe you're saying this." I hung up. Over the next few days, the situation with Amelia escalated. Her company launched a full internal investigation. The news spread like wildfire through our family, causing immense stress and tension. My parents were devastated, torn between believing their perfect daughter and the mounting evidence. Amelia became increasingly paranoid, accusing everyone, her colleagues, even her own husband, of betraying her. She started sending me erratic, accusatory texts and emails, hinting that I was somehow involved. I ignored most of them, focusing on my new job and trying to distance myself from the drama. A week later, I received an anonymous email. The subject line simply read, "Truth about Amelia." My heart pounded as I opened it. The email contained a series of screenshots. They were emails between Amelia and a former colleague of hers, someone she had been very close with in law school. The emails discussed a plan to set me up, to make it look like I was stealing from my new company. I scrolled through, my blood running cold. Amelia had been meticulously planning to create fake invoices, fabricate expense reports, and plant evidence that would implicate me in financial misconduct at my new studio. The motive, as stated in her emails, was to teach her a lesson about prioritizing her career over family, and to put her back in her place. She even detailed how she intended to use my personal information, which she had access to from when I had asked her for legal advice on a contract a few years ago, to make the fake account seem legitimate, and my hands trembled as I read the rest. The plot thickened. The tip-off that led to Amelia's current predicament was meant for my studio. The anonymous sender of the incriminating evidence against me was supposed to be Amelia's former colleague, a disgruntled ex-employee of my studio who Amelia had manipulated into helping her. But somewhere along the line, the colleague had double-crossed Amelia. It turned out that Amelia's former colleague, who she thought was helping her, had actually been feeding information to an investigative journalist. This journalist had been working on a story about corporate malfeasance and had caught wind of Amelia's scheme. Instead of passing on the fabricated evidence against me to my studio, the colleague had rerouted it, along with a treasure trove of Amelia's own incriminating emails, to Amelia's company. The journalist, armed with irrefutable proof, then leaked the story to a major news outlet, focusing on Amelia's unethical behavior and her attempt to frame her own sister. The anonymous email I received explained all of this, including the journalist's name and the news outlet. It was from Amelia's former colleague, who, out of a mix of guilt and fear of being implicated herself, had decided to reveal the truth to me that I was flawed. My own sister, my family, had tried to destroy my career, my dream, out of petty jealousy and spite. The betrayal was a physical ache in my chest. I felt sick to my stomach that I immediately forwarded the email and all the screenshots to my studio's human resources department and my boss, explaining everything. I provided them with every detail, including the name of the journalist and the news outlet. They were horrified and incredibly supportive. They assured me that they believed me and that they would do everything they could to protect me. The fallout for Amelia was swift and catastrophic. The news story broke 2 days later, splashed across national headlines. Prominent corporate lawyer accused of embezzlement and attempted frame-up, read one headline. The details were sensationalized, of course, but the core facts were undeniable. Her company fired her immediately and pressed charges. David, her husband, filed for divorce the very next day, citing irreconcilable differences and reputational damage to his own business. He also expressed disgust at her attempt to destroy my life. Our parents were absolutely devastated and mortified. The perfect family image they had so carefully cultivated shattered into a million pieces that I, on the other hand, was met with an outpouring of support from my colleagues and the industry. My studio's director, who had championed me from the beginning, publicly commended my integrity and strength. The journalist, impressed by my candor, even included a segment in a follow-up piece about how I had handled the situation with grace and professionalism. The whole ordeal, while traumatic, ended up solidifying my position and reputation in the industry. Other studios reached out, offering me even more opportunities. My parents, after getting over the initial shock and shame, have been profusely apologetic, recognizing the extent of Amelia's malice and the injustice I had suffered for so long. They've been trying to make amends, offering to help in any way they can. Amelia called me from jail a few weeks ago. She was distraught, crying, begging me to help her, to tell them it was all a misunderstanding. She even tried to blame her former colleague, claiming she was misled. I listened silently for a few moments, then calmly told her, "You made your bed, Amelia. Now you have to lie in it." And I hung up. I haven't heard from her since. It's been a rough few months, but I feel an incredible sense of liberation. The shadow of my perfect sister no longer hangs over me. I'm thriving in my dream job, surrounded by supportive colleagues, and finally, truly happy. It's a bittersweet victory, knowing it came at such a high cost to my family, but I wouldn't trade the peace and vindication I feel for anything.